What is going on, everyone? We are Tottenham TV. Spurs have survived. We are Premier League next season. We have beaten Everton 1-0. A massive sigh of relief. I think you could palpably hear 60,000 Tottenham fans breathing a sigh of relief in that stadium, and many more worldwide as well. Unbelievable. Spurs have stayed up with 7 games to go. Zerbi came into this football club with Spurs on the brink of relegation, having not won in 2026, was no wins in 14, in the relegation zone. It will look like a miracle at that point to try to keep Tottenham up. West Ham were in form, Forest were looking good, but we have done it on the final game. This 1-0 win has got us over the line. I'm here with Marlon from Spurs Kings TV. Marlon, they made us sweat today, but you got to say, we turned up today and we actually did play well.
I think that was key. I think we had to sit there and get a performance, and we were good for about 60 minutes, and then we kind of let Everton back in. And I think on any other day, I don't think we would have been as nervous. But look, if that's the performances we're going to get under Zerbi next season, with what we can say is not a great squad of players, then, you know, it's looking promising. It's looking really, maybe we won't get another season like this, and hopefully Zerbi will stick with us. But look, going back to the game, I think once we went 1-0 up, I think they got a bit comfortable, the players a little bit. Yeah, we got a little bit comfortable, and then I think, obviously, when West Ham scored and it must have filtered through, we kind of just let Everton have the ball a little bit. But I think
definitely a bit nervy in that second half, wasn't it? You got to say, first half, we came out and we
were
really
so
strong.
good. We were stopping everything in midfield. We were literally... Everton weren't getting anywhere near us.
Yeah, we'll press them a lot. We were raining shots on their goal. Not too many like clear chances. Although you have to say we were a massive threat from corners every time we did get one. And Everton were really struggling with dealing with from corners. Things were bouncing for Richarlison, Paulinho, Danso, and we could have scored before we did.
Yeah, that was probably our second best performance at home this season. I think Brentford will go down as one of the best because of Xavi and how good he was. Burnley was terrible on the first day. We just scored good goals. But today, for like 60 or 70 minutes, we were the better side. And we pressed them. It looked very much how we played against Villa. And I think that was key. And
it was good, but, you know, the only nervous thing, you know, going into that goal with half-time coming up, you know, we've been on top. We've, you know, been confident. We're looking good, but we just hadn't got that goal, had we?
No, and that was the thing, yeah.
And, you know, going in at 0-0, having not got that goal, knowing one goal for Everton could potentially see us down, that was obviously...
But if we
that was obviously nervy, so to get that goal just before half-time.
But if we weren't in this situation, if you actually look at that game and look at the way it was, Everton were never going to score against us today. That is how good we were defensively. Every time the ball went in the box, Danso was at the end of it. Any time it was on the floor, Van der Ven would put in that last-minute tackle in. Your doggy was winning the balls. How many times did we see Pedro Porro win the ball back in situations?
They were up for it today.
They were definitely up for it. And it was like, they've gone and saved they're probably one of their best performances at home for the last game of the season. And I'm glad they did.
But you know what? Ever since Zerbi's come in, we've been pretty good at home. You know, we've played quite well in those games.
But
we probably should have won one of those other games.
So Brighton, we should have won. Leeds, I think we kind of
draw maybe
fair.
Was fair today in the end. We deserved the win,
and we definitely.
And I think that was the difference today. Is yes, we, you know, when we had to be on the offensive and we had to take the game to Everton and we had to put them under pressure. We did that.
Yep.
But when we did have to shut up shop and we did have to make sure they're not scoring today, that we're not going to concede a goal. We did that, and I think we shut up shop at the end really, really effectively.
Yep.
I think for the majority of the game, it wasn't a case of stopping Everton. It was more of a case of we just kept them away from our goal. They struggled to get near our box.
Yeah, they did.
They really struggled. The only way they were doing it is just hoisting the ball into our box with long balls, and Danso and Van der Ven were definitely mopping those up. And I thought we defended with courage. We just kept the ball. We were calm for the majority of the game. But as you said, I did feel there was it did change a bit when West Ham scored.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just felt...
Yeah, you just felt a little bit nervous. All of a sudden, it went from when Tottenham were like playing it around the back. all of a sudden it went from Tottenham fans being excited by that, but being nervous. You felt that you could hear the crowd.
It was the crowd was getting nervous.
They were getting a bit jittery, even though we weren't really putting ourselves in any danger. You just heard a bit of jitters from the crowd and a bit.
But we were still winning it. We were still gritty in midfield, and I think that was key. I think that's why we weren't. I think me and you sat here and we weren't as nervous as what the crowd was, because we're seeing actually Benson, Paulina, and Gallagher were putting in such a shift. And even when Sarr came on, you could tell that Everton just didn't know where to put it. So, but yeah, it was interesting. But I think that's where the battle was won today in that midfield. But if we had a better forward line, we probably end up winning that by a bigger scoreline. Yeah,
and obviously, Tell was pretty good for the first half, but then, slowed down a bit in the second half. Richarlison off on the hour. Obviously, Jed Spence played right wing today, and I think he did his job. I think he did the job that we asked him to.
Yeah.
Defense. I think he was kind of defending from the front in a really impressive way.
Yeah.
I think obviously, when he got on the ball, you could see this guy's a defender in the forward line. He was struggling with that real quality. But I think in terms of what the job Zerbi probably asked of him today, I think he did it into a really good effect. And I think, he ran the whole game. He played 90 minutes, moved to left back near the end. I think he helped out Porro really well, and obviously got the job done at the end. And I think Paulinho stepping up in a big moment as he has done this season. 5th goal.
You think,
it could be his last game. We'll see whether Spurs.
You've got to think of the big important goals he has actually scored this season. So the Wolves won at home.
Yeah, massive.
Massive point when you think about what happened at the end. Wolves away was massive again. And then today. And you're like, those 3 goals are so important in what ends up happening.
He's had a massive say in us staying in the league, hasn't he? Especially since Zerbi's come in. Those 2 goals, the 2-goal and 1-0 wins have kept us in this league.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't score those goals, who knows where he'll be. You saw the emotion in his eyes. I don't know if this is going to be his last game or not. We'll have to wait and see what the club decide. But fair play to him. He's come in on loan and he's done brilliantly in those moments. Look, he's not a perfect player, but he's a player in these big moments who's really, really stood up for the team. And when it mattered, the ball fell to him. He just, wasn't the prettiest goal, but they all count, and he stepped up in a really big moment. And I think Tottenham near the end, with the news, West Ham had won 3-0, 9 minutes added on, stoppage time here. It did get a little bit nervy. All of a sudden, Everton started to pick the lock a bit. Tyreek George had that moment he got in behind, which Van de Ven had to clear. And then obviously a massive moment where George cuts inside and Kinski makes a fantastic one-handed save and just carries on what has been a brilliant end to the season for Kinski. He kept his clean sheet, but what a brilliant moment for him. Brilliant save. And it capped off what has been a brilliant kind of resurgence for him and a brilliant comeback from what was such a bad moment at Atletico.
Yeah.
And he potentially, you look at those moments he's had, those saves, massive part in keeping us up.
And I always said I was never going to judge Kinski until I saw him in front of the first team defence, because I think everyone harshly criticised him for always playing in front of it. It was a makeshift back 4. That's what he had. And then everyone's like, Vicario showed his worth last season. But I think this season there's been many, many questions on the Kinski and Vicario debate. And at the moment, as its push comes to shove, Kinski's in the last few games has shown that he was the keeper that we had to keep it, especially for this style of play. Because what was so important to Kinski coming in was the ball at his feet. So important. So what I'm looking at now is, look, do I want Kinski to be our number 1? As if I'm being honest, no. I think we need to go out and get a better goalkeeper than Vicario and Kinski. If we want to be a serious Premier League team, unfortunately, there are better keepers in the world of football that are better than those 2. Okay, Kinski's a great backup, but he's not the one to be number 1. But there's many more players in this team at the moment that I'm sitting there.
With Kinski's run, does he deserve a shot? A lot of people are saying yes because he's been brilliant, and the biggest part of his game where people said is his shot stopping, and brilliant stops recently.
That goal against Chelsea, the Enzo Fernandez, reminded me of how sometimes he cannot be. He moves too late, and he's not for me. I'll admit, he's just not for me. I think he's a great second choice goalkeeper, but I think he has shown his vulnerabilities in certain games where he has conceded. Don't get me wrong, but he's also been brilliant.
No, I just want to give him his,
Yeah, he deserves his flowers, and he's been brilliant. And that save at the end, and those 2 saves against Leeds, and especially after everything that happened in Atletico, and the way Tudor treated him, you have to go. You know what? He deserves all the praise that he gets. But the question's always going to be, and Spurs fans, we're going to overreact of should he be our number 1 next year? And my thing is, no, we need to go. If we're going to be serious club that we all want us to be, and we don't want to finish 17th, Kingsley's not the person to take us forward. But for this season and what he's done and keeping us up, deserves every little bit of praise that he gets coming towards him in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I wonder what will happen with him next season. It'll be interesting to see what the management choose. But look, we did get over the line. Obviously, after the 9 minutes added on.
Yep.
Massive relief at the end. They did get a bit jittery, but at the end of the day, when you look at it, it was, they needed to score 2 goals.
They did. They had to score 2.
In the last moment of the game. So it was always unlikely. I think Spurs kept them at arm's length well enough. They had a few headers over the bar and never really threatened, did they? And I think that is emblematic of what we've been under Zerbi in the sense that I think the big thing he's changed is actually as much as we've been better like with our football, we have been better defensively just because we're defending less.
Yes.
And that is the key. For De Zerbi. And I think that's exactly what happened on the last day. We defended much better today, but it wasn't, we didn't defend much better because we kept 11 players in our box, you know what I mean? We defended better because we kept the ball better and we just... Everton struggled to get near our box because they had less chance to.
And since that mistake against Brighton with Danso, you notice they've told him not to play. He doesn't need to play with the ball at his feet. He just goes and clears it. And ever since that moment, you've got a good defender now because he won everything in the air today. Absolutely everything. He was solid, and he's been solid since that game against Brighton. He's actually been. He was good in that game too. Don't get me wrong, but the mistake at the end will always overshadow. But today, him and Van der Ven, you have to call out exactly what they did, and they were absolutely brilliant today, both of them. They were so solid.
So we won, we are safe, and I'm just at the moment looking at Roberto De Zerbi and his celebrations. How much credit does he deserve, man, for keeping us in the Premier League? As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, what he took over, not only the form, the mood around Tottenham. He was our 3rd manager of the season. The injury crisis that we had, and still going. Not only that, it worsened. He came into the team and he lost Romero, he lost Xavi, he lost Solanke. Every step of the way, you're thinking it gets harder and harder, and you're thinking, how is he going to get the results we need? At the end of the day, he's managed 7 games. We've won 3. Drawn,
but this is what we were looking for. But this is what we were looking for in a manager, that someone who's going to be able to deal with this adversity and be able to cope with what he's been given in front of him, like Areola has done at Bournemouth a little bit. And we always said you've got to be able to cope with these injuries. And to be fair to De Zerbi, and I do you know what? And when everyone was like moaning that he's going to lose his crap at players and this, that, and the other, and I was like, as people actually listening to the positive stuff that all these players are talking about him when he came in, like Lallana and all that, Højbjerg, you heard them say how much they loved him, and actually he was that arm around the shoulder manager, but no one wanted to listen to that. Everyone wanted to watch that video that he did with Marseille where he was shouting at the player. But everyone, if you actually go back and watch the interviews and everything around those 2 players, and especially when they had to fight, was the fact that they weren't listening to what he was saying. It wasn't a one-off. So when he came in, and when he was talking about Kingsley and then he was talking about Mawani, look, he knew he needed Mawani. And we were like, have you seen him all season? But he had no choice to play him because he had Richarlison and Mawani were his only 3 attacking players. And he went, I need this player to be playing exactly how he was at Frankfurt. And no matter how all of his bad performances that he put in, he still stuck by him. And he didn't call him out once. And I think Tuesday, because of the mistake, I think he thought he had no choice. And he had to kind of bring Spence in today. But that shows you the type of manager he is. And he has taken risks. A lot of us have moaned about his substitutions again this season. But again, he's managed to pull us out of trouble. And he's managed to get us literally over the line. And that's all he had to do.
Who would have seen 3 wins coming? Think about it. We hadn't won for 4 months. We were 15 games without a win.
Yeah, 15 games.
When he took over, and yet we said, which by the way, it ended up he needed to.
Yep.
We need 3 wins in these 7 games. I remember we were like, how is he going to get 3 wins when we haven't won in 4 months. And he's managed to get them by hook or by crook. He's got them over the line. Now, it's not been... I don't think we've seen full-on De Zerbi ball anywhere near yet. I don't think we have reached the potential anywhere close to what we can do under this manager. But you know what? He's set himself a 7-game challenge. Can I just keep this team in the division? Can I get the wins needed with all the injuries, all the all the circumstances surrounding the squad and the friction between the players and the fans and the nonsense in the boardroom, all this kind of stuff. And to win these 3 games and get the 2 draws, that has been enough to just keep us in the division. I think is a fantastic, astounding achievement from him. And I really didn't see it coming, especially as the situation, the circumstances kept getting harder and harder the longer he was in charge of this club. And to win the 3 games and keep us in the division, even though it's on the last day, congratulations, Roberto De Zerbi. And I'm excited for him next season. I'm excited for what he can do. And, hopefully he gets the players that can play his football. And all of a sudden we can start looking to the future and start getting excited about what he can do.
It was against Sunderland and he knew, he saw something that day. He saw that he could work with this squad because it was a 1-0 deflection. We had chances to put it away, especially in the first half against Sunderland. We didn't actually play that badly. But I think it was his interview after, it was at the Brighton game. And that's when I believed in him. Because I said we were gone. You'll find anything on YouTube. I said we're gone, we're down, ain't going to happen.
Even when we got the win against Wolves, it came off the back of West Ham getting a last-minute goal and us losing Javi and Solanke.
But like you said, he said we needed those 3 wins. He thought we could win all 6. That was his belief. But actually, when you hear him and what he was talking about, you could actually believe it in his voice. He believed it. And I was thinking, you've been behind the scenes now for nearly 2 weeks, because he'd been working 2 weeks. And obviously, when Tudor came in and been working, his attitude changed as soon as he got in behind the scenes. But he said, no, I think I can get 6 wins. And then we obviously got the win against Wolves, and then we got the win against Aston Villa, which was, at the time, we didn't realise how important that Villa game was. That was the weekend West Ham got relegated, by the way.
Which one? The
Villa weekend, yeah. Because that was the weekend they lost to Brentford. And that was the weekend that we got the victory that we needed. And that was obviously what happened next. But look, they've got to back De Zerbi. When I say back De Zerbi, they've got to now trust him and believe in what he wants to do. But I think what the club now have to understand is, I'm not going to say it, a lot of these players need to be shifted. They just got to get rid of them. They just got to make a loss and get rid of them, because if you don't, half of these players are going to keep us in this situation again. And the season's been an absolute waste of time. If we're being honest, the fact we're in this situation, it's been an absolute waste of time for us this season as a fan base, that we've had to watch this rubbish from start to finish. And I think these last 6 games have probably been the highlight of our season.
And as you say, you mentioned, by the way, De Zerbi, when he said, after the Brighton game, we drew in the last minute and we were in the relegation zone at that point. And I think at that point, if West Ham would have won on the Monday, they would have gone 4 points clear of us. And we got away with that. But he said, what did he say after that game? We can win all 5. We can win 5 out of 5. I've got the players to do it. Obviously, we didn't do that. But what we did do is won 3. We won 3, we drew 1, and we lost 1 of his last 5 games when we looked dead and buried. And no one saw that coming. No one thought we were going to be capable of that. And you look at the table now, we stayed up with 2 points. Every single one of those results was crucial. Absolutely crucial to us staying in the division. So it was such a fine line. We stayed up. West Ham went down on 39 points. That is probably a record not a record, but it's since they since 2003.
Since they last went down.
I don't think anyone has gone down on 39 points for a good 15 years. So that was the level that we had to stay above to make sure we were in the division for next season. And it was such a narrow kind of route to safety, and we just about got over the line. I just want to heap so much praise on him, because to get the results that we did, fair play. But you know what? We should never have been in this position. And as much as it feels good today, or relief today, to stay up and confirm, we should never have been in this position. It's not something to celebrate.
No.
It's not something to celebrate. We should not be celebrating we're a Premier League team. We should always be a Premier League team. Tottenham should never be in relegation battles. We should never be leaving it to the final day to know whether we're going to be a Premier League team next season. And it's embarrassing that it got to this stage. And I understand, the celebrations with the players, with the manager, and Zerbi running on the pitch and all that kind of stuff. I enjoyed the passion, and
Zerbi can celebrate.
Zerbi, because he's just come in.
Yeah,
but
he lost 2 games.
He did have 7.
Yeah, so you got to give him credit.
No, it's a fair. No, Zerbi, I think he deserves all the praise. But
the rest
for
of
me,
them, him and Maddison.
This is not a time to be celebrating and think about what a great achievement. It's a time for self-reflection and understanding why we got in this position and never being in this position again. And it's about this hierarchy learning very, very harsh lessons about how we got into this situation.
Sim, they'll be sitting there now going, but we're the ones who brought in Zerbi. We're the ones who were able to get it. And that's what they'll be thinking.
7 games to go.
Yeah.
They left it in the balance.
Yeah.
The reason why I went down to the final day is because of their actions. They stayed for Frank for way too long. They stayed with Tudor. They should never have got Tudor in the first place. And then Zerbi, it was a Hail Mary. They panicked when they got Zerbi because we were about to go down.
They should have panicked
with
back
7
in January,
games to go, it should never have been. You don't give a manager 7 games to save you. It was never going to be.
The fact that, because it will always be the case of that Frank and Zerbi went pretty much on the same day, didn't they? It was pretty much within 24 hours of each other that they went.
Yeah.
And the fact that they wanted Zerbi last summer and he said no, and then the fact they probably went back in January a couple of days after, but the fact they got that desperate and they had to throw the bank at him. Okay, yeah, Zerbi's only here for money. Don't get it twisted. But he's come in and he's done such a wonderful job. And that's what I have to put in these 7 games. He's shown so much that a lot of us fans are looking at going, actually, if you go and give him mostly what he needs, he can start moving us forward. And I think that's what's key to this, because no matter how much we look at this squad was a mid-table squad at least. Never a relegation, never in a relegation, but mid-table. But they have shown nothing this season for me to even get carried away with. We're now in this situation. I'm so glad we stayed up. I'm relieved we stayed up. But it's now time that it's open heart surgery time, and it's going to be players that some people might like are going to have to leave. It needs a whole revamp, and they need to look at everything, absolutely everything. And if we don't, we're going to be in this situation again next season.
Absolutely.
2 seasons in a row, we have finished 17th. And I think people, we can look at the Europa League win, but 2 seasons we've finished 17th. And I'm not, like you said, there's no time for celebrating now. It's done. I've watched us stay in this league. It's time to now move on and get this. Because if we're in this situation next season, I tell you now, we're gonna be like West Ham. There's gonna be a point that we'll end up getting relegated.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important, while we were in this relegation run-in and while we were under pressure, to not obviously heap even more pressure on the players, with all these different things. But now safety is confirmed. Attention needs to turn to the board and putting pressure on the board and making our feelings known that this is unacceptable, that where we are this season, unacceptable the position they put us in. We should never, ever go through what we went through this season. We want to put this season to the back of our minds and just forget about it. It's brilliant that we ended up staying up, and now hopefully I think all the Tottenham fans have even more belief in this manager now because of what we've been through and how he's been able to save us. I think Zerbi deserves so much praise, and he should be back to the fullest over the season. We need different players, and we need players that can play the Zerbi football. And Zerbi's not going to tolerate, we know he's a bit of can be a bit of a hothead. He sometimes can be very demanding. So he's not going to tolerate the club not backing him and not seeing his vision. I think we've got in this position because everyone has followed Zerbi. Even people like Van der Ven, his form has completely turned around.
Oh, completely.
Brilliant again today. With some brilliant last challenges, and hopefully this manager can give the club and the players and the fans belief again that maybe next season, things can turn around and we can go on the up. But
maybe a Leicester season.
Who knows? I don't want to say anything. Obviously, we're going to be without Europe next season.
It's going to be massive.
Can just be thankful that we're in the Premier League, let alone any Europe.
But they've got to look at it and remember Andrew's first season. Remember how bulky that squad was.
Yeah.
But yet it still got us 5th. They have to think of the same thing because we had injuries that season too. But because we had such a massive squad, we were able to cope with them and we were able to get over the line in that 5th spot. Then we reduced the squad the next year and we had bloody European football. It just didn't make no sense. So they've really got to think about it.
Yeah, and in reality, is the Premier League is getting tougher and tougher. Look, as I said, this year 39 points needed. 39 points went down. So to think we can just coast by and think we can keep making bad decision after bad decision, and it won't catch up with you in this day and age. This day and age
2 years in a row now.
You look at the middle teams, Sunderland coming up from the Premier League Championship and getting European football today. You know, teams are getting smarter, they're getting better. Brentford's, Brighton's, Bournemouth's, all 2 of them in European football now. It is getting tougher and tougher, so we can't afford to rest on our laurels.
A lot of Premier League teams took their eye off the ball because a lot of the teams that were coming out were going straight back down over the last few years, and I think that was the biggest issue. And I think like West Ham, Tottenham, you can clout Newcastle in that as well. Thought, oh, you know what, we'll be fine. We could, but the problem is, like you said, Sunderland have qualified for Europe. That is where we're at now. A lot of these teams are now catching us up because they're being better with recruitment. And that's the thing. Everyone's got access to data now. They don't need, you know, to be putting scouts around the world now because you've got so much information at your fingertips that these clubs are able to be on the same level playing field as us. It's just when it comes down to money and wages and what you can pay for them is how important it is and the coaches you bring in. We've got a coach now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time for the players.
And I think not only do we have a coach that I think everyone believes in now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for all the other coaches, there's been people with big doubters and people saying, I'm not sure he's that good, or even people, you know, half the fan base liked with Ange, half the fan base didn't. Frank, no one really liked.
No one liked Frank.
You know, even before that, Conte
was 50-50 with people as well.
People didn't like his football, but I think everyone is getting behind Zerbi.
Yeah,
and
I think you can see it.
that is key. You see, the players are fully behind him. He's got the players bought in, and we just need to make sure we don't fuck this up.
Imagine what he's going to do at Kudos though.
Exactly.
I can't wait for that.
Look, he's managed to keep us up with the
bare minimum.
on the wing.
Yeah,
you know, Richarlison running himself to the ground with players like Paulinho in the midfield, who I don't think is 100% his kind of player. Gallagher playing in the number 10, who's not a 10. You know, Danso's playing centre back, who's not the best at passing.
Yeah, he's not good on the ball. Yeah,
exactly. So all these things, he's managed to scrape together a team to get results.
Yeah.
And imagine
that's why I'm looking at him. Yeah, this is why I'm looking.
Give him the tools to actually, with his players, what he can do.
Well, this is why I'm looking at him going. He's done this with a crap team. Yeah, and now I don't like half his players.
Team and crap form.
Crap form, and he's managed to pull this round. Yes, he's going to have a whole pre-season with them in the summer, but imagine what we can do if we gave him the squad that Mourinho had after Poch left. Something along them lines. Like Conte was able to do it. Yeah, we had Kane, don't get me wrong, but now we have to build a team, so let's get going.
All right, well, everyone, we can breathe a big sigh of relief tonight.
Because we are Premier League.
We are Premier League. Oh, but I guess a word on West Ham. They have been relegated. We are at the cost of us, obviously. They won 3-0 today, but they will be playing in the Championship next season. Obviously, it's a massive story. A West Ham, big club, who have not been relegated, I think, since 2011, I believe. So they've been in the Premier League for a while, although we've seen them being relegated in my lifetime a couple of times. But they look absolutely gutted.
But this was coming for them. This is why I'm looking at Spurs.
They're a lesson to us, aren't they?
They are a complete lesson to us because they've been moaning at their board, they've been moaning at the signings they've been making, and their recruitment has been, and their managers have been terrible. Like, I couldn't believe when they brought in Graham Potter. They're the ones who wanted David Moyes out. Just look at the contrast between Everton and West Ham now. So the fans have to pay some part in that as well, because they're the ones who wanted Moyes out. And then they've gone and trusted their board to pick these absolute terrible managers. And even when you hear them speak about Nuno, a lot of them don't like Nuno. Like, you've got to remember, he's been there since September, and even he couldn't get themselves out of this situation. So this is a big lesson for Spurs and the board to look at West Ham and go, if we keep treading the way we're going, we'll be with them.
Because exactly, they're actually a similar position. You know, recently won a European trophy, but don't really have a footballing plan. You know, they've been going from manager to manager, similar to us, with no real philosophy, chopping and changing, with all making bad decision after bad decision, trying to make panicking moves to bail themselves out, not sticking with anything, and making poor signings. The squad is a mishmash of all different managers' visions, and you know, now they're down. And thankfully for us, we've just about stayed up, head above water. But I look at West Ham, and as much as it's great to get one over on them, they're the ones who are relegated this time, and they're the ones who are going to be in the Championship. Imagine the London Stadium in the Championship next season. 60,000 seater stadium in the Championship. It's incredible.
Well, one of the stadiums was going to go.
As much as it's something we can laugh at, and as much as something we can say, look, we got one over at West Ham, they're going to be going to Lincoln and Bolton and Millwall next season. That should be something we look at with as a lesson to be learned, as something we have to try and avoid, and we can't act like that, because if we do, we can see West Ham weren't too big to go down, and neither are we.
Neither
and
we
nearly
that close.
did. We
Before
just about
Tudor,
did it.
no, before De Zerbi, we were going down. We were literally going down.
Exactly.
So
So there we have it. Thank you all for joining us for what has been obviously a long season. We've just about stayed up. It is now your chance to have your say about Tottenham survival today. We are Premier League going for next season. You could all breathe a huge sigh of relief, but it's time for you to have your say about what happened today, what's happened about the season. Come on and talk about whatever you want. But first of all, let's get Brian Daigle on the show today. Brian, good to see you, my man.
Oh, got a huge sigh of relief.
Wait, Brian, one sec. You're breaking up a bit. Do you rejoin?
Give me a sec. Give me 2 so I'll get back. 2 seconds.
Okay, he's going to rejoin. We'll just wait for Brian. I can just hear De Zerbi talking now. Let's see if we can hear what he's saying. Oh, I think is he back?
Yeah.
Oh, let's get Brian on.
Yeah, but one sec.
Oh, go on, give him a sec, Sammy.
Sec.
Okay, let's just hit De Zerbi.
Was at stake today, the pressure of the game. How proud are you of the way that your players handled the occasion?
Yeah, De Zerbi. I'm definitely in for De Zerbi.
All in.
I'm all in.
I love his passion. I love that he's got everyone together. And you
I
know what as well?
just love the way he talks.
Everyone said as well when he first came in, oh, he's a hothead. He's going to make the situation
but
worse.
no, but I
People
didn't get
said,
that
oh,
from
you
him.
know, he's pouring. It's like pouring gasoline onto a fire.
No.
That kind of thing. But it hasn't been like that at all, has
it's
it?
been the
Hasn't been like that
complete
at all.
opposite. He knows exactly what he needs to do to get the best out of his players. And you know what? Did you hear? Was it Barber from Brighton talk about De Zerbi just before he came?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, we can hear Brian now.
All right, let's get Brian back on. Brian, good to see you, my man.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, much better.
Oh, damn it, yeah,
thanks
we
for
can.
rejoining.
I'm joker, but you know what? We can have a couple of jokes right now. Huge sigh of relief. Tottenham gave you the best birthday presents, Sim.
Yeah.
He did say at the beginning that he was Tottenham always win around his birthday or give him something big, so he can have this one.
Thank God they did, and just like thank God this shit show of a clusterfuck of a season is over.
Absolutely, and it's we can all look, we can put it behind us now. We can breathe a big sigh of relief. What was in terms of just sticking on today, just for a moment? We stepped up today, didn't we? You know, big game, lots of pressure. I thought we played well.
Yeah, look, we played well in parts. We certainly did. I think the main thing to take away from it was the mental attributes that we needed. We need to show fight. We need to show courage. We need to show passion. We need to show bottle. And we showed all that. We showed all that. Even when West Ham went 1-0 up, 2-0 up, there could have been doubts creeping in. But a very disciplined professional performance, a clean sheet, and a home win. I mean, miracles do happen.
You know this, Brian.
so look, that all that mattered today, obviously, it was the points over the performance. If we could get a performance out of it, so much the better. We've got away with it. There were green shoots there. There's a few players that really stood out for me today.
Who?
But like I said, it's done and dusted. We are a Premier League team. Relief is over. The battle was won as keeping our status. Now it's the war of getting the dickheads out of this football club.
You're absolutely right, and we'll get into that. But you said a few players stood out for you today. Who were they?
Yeah. Our goalkeeper.
Yep.
Kinski, right at the death again. Quiet game. Did everything all right with his feet. But when the doubts were all, when it was getting near the end, and he needed to come up with a big save, boy did he. And you know what, that man, like I've said it, I think a lot of Spurs fans have said it, whether they've come on the show or spoken about it on social media or whatever it may be, for what that man has gone through and had to deal with, to come back and put in the 6-7 performances that he's put in was incredible. I think Porro again today was great.
He was good today.
I think Porro was, people know I'm a huge fan of his. Defensively, I thought he was very, very good. I was actually surprised that he didn't go right wing and Spence played right back, but right decision. And I think after our horror show at Chelsea, Paulinho was absolutely magnificent and incredible. And that guy needs to be signed up as soon as possible. As soon as possible. He is incredible. And how vital have his goals been? We thought when he was coming, it would be vital for his number 6 in defensive play. His goals have been crucial.
Yeah, real crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 5 goals this season, and especially the last 2 against Wolves and against today, 2 1-0 wins. You know, we don't stay up if it was in for those 2 goals. So absolutely massive, absolutely massive. And talk to me about Zerbi. You know, he kept us up with 7 games to go. You know, it was all again going against us when he came in. So what a job it is to keep us in the Premier League.
He has done a phenomenal job, especially with then getting Simmons injured and other players injured, and he's had to play a very, very similar team. When he first came in, he said, I'm not going to try and do too much. I'm not going to try and change tactics or try and reinvent the wheel. We just got to get through to the end of the season. And he's done it. He's done it. Now, the thought of him having a whole pre-season with the players that are either still at the club or come in, injuries like Kudus and hopefully Kulu back, we shall see. But what he has done and the passion when we scored that goal, we all loved it when Conte was on the sidelines, and you see that passion from the manager, and he's just a colossus when it comes to the emotion, isn't he, and the passion.
Yeah, and are you fully believe in him now? Do you think this Zerbi, he's going to be he's the guy to take us forward?
Yeah, I mean, look, but this way, people know I had my doubts about him when he came in, but why I had my doubts was it was nothing to do with Greenwood. It was completely different. That proved to be unfactual. So I took everything back that I said. What he's come in and done, he played great football at Brighton. He did get, and you've seen it in patches and in certain games, we've had periods where we've actually played some decent football and it's looked like green shoots are coming. And then there's been times where there wasn't, but we've needed to see out performances and make sure we stay resolute and tight and don't concede. And today we could not afford to switch off. And fair play to, I think Mickey as well was great today. Sorry, how can I forget Mickey? And now we'll see the real Zerbi effect, and hopefully Mickey will sign a contract. Hopefully, with what we're hearing, obviously with his love for the club or love for Zerbi. And now we look forward. We look forward and hope that we never ever have to experience another season like we've just endured.
But Daigle, do you think we will? Would you think that he will get the players and the people that he needs to get behind him for next season, or do you think we'll end up in the same situation due to you know who?
Marlon, that's the $64 million question. I mean, I hope. Listen, we all hope Lange and Vinay go, or at least one of them go. We've heard that Zerbi is going to have more power in transfers. We got to hope that is the case. We'll soon see. And obviously, if he doesn't, we know what Zerbi's like. He will just take a grenade, take the pin out and throw it at the board. So it's a summer of major questions, but hopefully Zerbi will have the power and authority to make very key decisions. And hopefully the first 2 he does is say, Joe and, Charlie and Vivian, get Vinay and Lange out of here. God, see you later. Ta-da.
Daigle, do you think that the board and everyone, because of the World Cup, are going to get away with actually delaying a lot of stuff because of it?
Look, but like I said, I don't trust this board to tell me the right time, to make me a cup of tea, whatever you want to put it in. The excuses will come out. We don't have money. We do have money, though. And the World Cup's going on, so the players price it. There's going to be so many excuses, so many different things we hear. My eyes are fully focused now. Now the season's over. The summer of me going absolutely nuclear at Vinay, Lange and the board is only just beginning. People thought I was going mad with Levy. I'm going to be doubling down. This is a massive summer for Tottenham Hotspur. We've heard it before. This is the summer we spend. This is the summer that Spurs exploit their advantage. Well, I'm not listening to those excuses anymore, and a lot of fans aren't. So it's now about putting the focus on them, and we'll see what will be when the season starts.
Yeah, it's as you say, it's a massive summer ahead, and but it's a weird one. Like, as much as it's been horrible this season, I think a lot of fans are starting to look at Zerbi and maybe look at him and think, if this is what he can do with what he had available to him, imagine if we've got players that are suited to how Zerbi likes to play. What maybe we could do next season? Is that your thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we saw it in his final season at Brighton, didn't we? When he'd already been there a season or two, the kind of free-flowing football they did play. And let's face it, they didn't have world-renowned players, but Brighton are a team that scout incredibly well. And we know that. They scout incredibly well. They have a great setup there. And De Zerbi had players that were suited to play in the positions he needed, to play the style of football he needed. And that's the way we've got to look at things. Yes, we need a prolific striker immediately, like a genuine prolific goal scorer. They don't come cheap. And then we got to build the team around what De Zerbi wants. But the midfield looks strong today. I think Bissouma, Bentancur, Gallagher, and especially Paulinho looked incredible today. There's something there, and obviously you got the couple of youngsters in Gray and Bergvall there, and who knows who else comes through. There are things there. We've just got to see what De Zerbi does. But has De Zerbi said, "Listen, I've kept you up and shown you what I could do with this crap.
Yeah.
Give me some decent players"? Yes, he most definitely has. Yes, he most certainly has, and we just got to hope he's backed.
A word on West Ham, Brian? Been relegated to the Championship today?
Shame. I'm devastated. I'm devastated. But you know what? It comes down, in all fairness, and without taking the piss, it came down to the two worst run teams in the Premier League. They have owners and boards that have lied to the fans over and over again, taken advantage of the fans, taking the fans for granted, and this is the repercussions. And West Ham are going to go through a tough time now, and they will have a hard time getting back up. They're going to lose key players. Obviously, we've heard about the cost of them being in the Championship and the stadium. They've got some big hurdles to jump over, and thankfully, it's not Tottenham Hotspur having to deal with it.
Damn right. And we could all just breathe a bit easier tonight, can't we, Brian? You know, this whole season has been one of, probably the hardest season we've had, probably following Tottenham. And, we've gotten away with it. But let's just hope we can put this season in the rear view mirror and we never go through this again.
We'll look at it this way, Sim. The season is over. We can all now breathe that huge sigh of relief, relax. Spurs have kept their Premier League status. Now it's time to have a bit of reflection as a Spurs fan, see what this club do, enjoy the summer, hopefully enjoy England doing very well in the World Cup or whatever nation the Spurs fans follow. And then we go again August.
And go back
we
to
go again
the
August.
champions.
Mate, this year we just got to enjoy the summer that is coming our way, enjoy the World Cup and a festival of football, and go again. And thankfully, we can all say to ourselves next season, or even when the fixture list comes out in a few weeks, we're looking at the Premier League fixture list. We're not looking at the Championship fixture list. And we can just have this as a marker to say never, ever should Spurs be in this situation again. Whether the board remain, whether Lange and Vinay stay, this is unacceptable. This cannot be allowed to happen, and should be used as a reference to say whatever we did here, we did wrong. Never ever are we doing these choices again.
And no Stelegation this year.
Thank God.
No
Yes, Delegation is over, people. It's over. It's over.
Believing it's done
For another season.
Where is Stel? Where is he? I want him to answer for the Stelegation.
I'm sure he'll be on. I'm sure he'll be on. But yeah, thank God. Loads of us weren't with Stelegation, and I love Stel like a brother. He is a brother. But I was absolutely complete opposite side of the spectrum with him. Never wanted us to be relegated. The whole Stelegation thing is over. And like I said, Spurs remain a Premier League club. But this isn't excitement or celebrations. It's relief and avoiding humiliation.
Absolutely. Brian, always great to speak to you, my friend.
Big up,
good to
brother.
see
Always a
you.
pleasure. I will say, before I do my normal outro, I will say, as I always do, this is a party political broadcast supported by the We Love Tottenham, We Are Tottenham TV channel, my one and only channel. Boys, thank you for another season of brilliant content, non-stop You are the #1 channel. You are the people's channel. And please, God, within the next few weeks, you'll be at 200,000. So I have to get the 200K tattooed next to the.
We hit the 200K today, Brian.
Brian, we're done.
Oh God, get in there! And like Gaza. If I now need to get my suit measured, yes. I need to get my tattoo added, yes. And as always, Enoch out. Congratulations, boys.
Thank you, Brian.
We've sacked Ben as well because 200, I was here for it, so he can't come back now. I'm the new Daniel, brother.
Brilliant. Always great to see Brian. Before we get the next caller, just a couple of there's a few super chats. Let's just fly through them before we get the next caller on. The first one was, what's the first one of this stream? From Jep. Where is he? Oh, let's just read it from here. Jep Fisher says, let's get top 4 next season. The whole world wanted us to go down, literally, but we stayed together and fought. Shout out Kinski season over. Come on, PSG. Chameleon says, please, can we please effing sign Paolini on permanent? We'll see. The decision will be made. LA Baller says, congrats on 200K. A lot to be proud of today. We go again. I don't know about proud, but we can just not be embarrassed, I guess. Michael Roche says, now for Lange and V9, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Mug 29 fans says, Biss, Richie, who else out the door? Oh, there'll be a time and place for saying that. There'll be a lot of players who need to leave. Chameleon says, I agree when it comes to our keeper situation. However, I think we have outfield issues that need to be solved before we even think about spending big on a keeper. Therefore, I would give Kinski next season. 6-yard box says, boys, I believed as soon as we got to Zerbi. Hope the board learned from this. We have to get them out ASAP. This can't happen again, ever.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely. NED says, lads, are you coming to New Zealand for pre-season? I'd love to. We'll see if we can make it work. Can't guarantee anything. But
at least we don't have to cancel it now.
Yeah, I don't have to cancel it. Malware says, thank the Lord, Kinski, keep Paolini, keep Colo. Send him to the recycle bin. Men in Black, what from this season? Forget it comes back stronger. Barry Bandana says, masterclass in man management by Zerbi. The players responded to him. Kinski, Danso, heroes. Fire Lange, fire Vinay. Jake MB97 says, boys, it's 4 a.m. in Melbourne. Just was in Oz Spurs group. Let's go, lads. Ready for the call. Big up to you, Jake. And Mug 29 fan says, get Vlahovic. A London sneakhead says, keep Kinski, Spence, Danso, Van der Ven, Gray, Madison, Tell, Javi, Odebear. Keep for now Porro, Paolini, Gallagher, and Bergval. And he says, sell Romero, Udogi, Basuma, Bentacle, Sarsalanki, Richarlison, send back Moani expeditiously. Let's get Chris on the channel. He's outside the Spurs stadium at the moment.
Clement Longley.
Come on. Chris, man.
We've done it, man. We've done it. We've done it. I'm relieved. I'm relieved.
Yeah,
honestly.
massive sense of relief today, isn't it?
Yeah, it honestly was. And you could tell at the full-time whistle, the fans were just going mental. And there was some Enoch out chants inside the stadium as well. I don't know if you guys heard that on the TV, but there was a lot of Enoch out chants for a good 2 minutes.
Well, after the game?
Yeah, so we were celebrating after the game, obviously, celebrating the survival. And then about 5 minutes into that, they started chanting, we want Enoch out for a good 2-3 minutes.
Okay, so attention did turn to the ownership after we had got survival. And obviously, we were listening on the TV. The fans sounded absolutely brilliant and they sounded top game. Tell me what it was like before the game.
Say that again?
Tell me what it was like before the game.
Oh, honestly, incredible. The best I've seen it before a game in my life here. The road was packed. The fans were amazing today. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. We're all so united. The chants were going off. The vibes were it. It was a nice sunny day as well. Honestly, big credit to the fans as well, because it was short notice from the Zerbi to get the Tottenham fan base to do this, to request to coach me. So the fact they had 2 days to get all these fans together and create an incredible atmosphere it just shows how good of a fan base we have.
Was there more fans there today than there was against Forest?
I don't think so. So I think Forest, he had a bit more preparation, but they were still maybe level or maybe just a bit less. But honestly, incredible. So loud. It was bad. I think it was louder though this time because last time we had 2-0, no, everyone was unsure. But because we have the Zerbi now, is fully behind him. You can tell.
Yeah, what was it like inside the stadium today? I mean, the fans sounded incredible. I thought Tottenham played well today, didn't they?
I thought it was it was a very good game today, honestly, in total, like from Spurs. We just done our job. And the atmosphere, the fans at the stadium, yeah, incredible. The atmosphere from pre-game to into the game, just non-stop chanting, non-stop vibes. There was a bit of a nervy period, obviously, where we were letting everyone come on to us in that second half. And then Kinski had to make a foul save. I think Van de Ven cleared off the line at one point as well. And then that's when you started to see that there was some nerves creeping in, especially when we saw West Ham were 3-0 up. And obviously the game has finished and we still had another 9 minutes to wait. But yeah, I thought the performance was good. I thought it was the best one we've had all year here, really. This is our first win in the league here. So it's nice. It was good. I'm just, honestly, the performance didn't matter to me. It was just a result today. Just a result.
So do you think De Zerbi now, if De Zerbi's going to be the man to take us forward into the next year, do you think he's going to get the full backing with the board? Because obviously you said Enoch out chance were there today, but do you think he's going to get the full backing next season?
I mean, I don't think so. Because the board has let Conte down, they let Mourinho down, they let Pochettino down. They even let Ange Postecoglou down to an extent as well. I don't know. Will they change their ways unless we get them gone? I don't know. It'll be very optimistic for me to say, yeah, we are going to back him. I hope they do. I hope they prove me wrong and they do back him. But I don't see it with our recent track record of backing managers, unfortunately. But it will be a long process. I'll say it'll take 2 to 3 windows anyways. So you get rid of this mess that we got at the club and to bring us some good quality talent.
Talk to me about... Go on.
No, I need to know. Did you say anything?
I'm saying, talk to me about De Zerbi himself, like what the job he's done and how much belief you've got in him.
Honestly, the job he's done has been sensational. I'm very, very behind De Zerbi. He's come in, he's revolutionised us, really. We were playing so crap on the Frank, so crap on the Tudor. The players looked like they didn't know what they were doing. They're just guessing half the time on the pitch. But De Zerbi, he's come in, he's put some tactics into place, he's put some instructions into place, and you can tell the players love him, you can tell the players are fighting for him and for the club. He's got Van de Ven back on side. He's got all the players back on side as well that were probably edging to leave. Bar Christian Romero, I'd say. I think Romero's gone. But De Zerbi, I cannot credit him enough. Honestly, he's done the impossible. I thought we were down. Remember, I came on here after Brighton as well with De Zerbi and said we were gone. So I thought the players were just not good enough. And the fact that De Zerbi has got the best out of Tell, Colin Moani, Richarlison, it's just a miracle to me, a miracle. And if they do back him, we'll do very well next season. But it's always a case of Spurs, if, buts, and maybes. So, but yeah, I'm fully on board with them. And I wouldn't want anyone else to be my manager for the next season at least anyways.
So, Paulinho obviously scored an important goal today again. And he seems to have scored some important goals this season. If you were De Zerbi, would you sign him permanently or would you look elsewhere?
No, you got to sign him permanently. Got to. And I know people say that he's a bit too old. It's not worth spending the money on him. If they can get 25 million euros from 30 million euros, bring him in. He's got Premier League experience. He's got experience. He's got leadership in him. We have no one in the squad really with some real leadership there. So keep him put. And he's been so important to us this season. So important. The amount of important goals. 2 goals this season against Wolves, they gained us points. The goal tonight, gained us all 3 points. He is absolutely sensational, in my opinion. And I can't believe on the Tudor, and even on the Frank at points, we weren't starting him near enough every game over like the likes of a Bergvall or Gray, honestly.
What do we have to do to avoid being in this situation again next season, do you think?
Well, we'd have to back the Zerbi. We'd have to get rid of the players that turned themselves out on the Tudor, if that makes sense. So players get rid of the players like Van de Ven, Udogi, get rid of Romero, get rid of Vicario, get rid of... There's so many players, in my opinion. I know it sounds something very harsh, but we can't be in this position again. And if we aren't going to be in this position again, we have to go and get rid of all these players that don't care about the club itself. Van de Ven, I know I said he's not back on side. He is back on side, but there was a period of the season on the Tudor where he checked out completely, and that is completely unacceptable in my opinion. If you're going to check out at that final stage of the season, get red cards, and just not play with any sort of care in the world, I don't want that in my club. Because what if the Zerbi doesn't work out next season and Van der Ven starts playing like that again? Is that worth the risk? No. Romero, is it worth the risk of him, keeping him? When he gets so many red cards himself, he's a reckless defender. No, game gone. We have to bring in players that want to play for this club. And that's the way I see us not being in this position again.
All right, Chris, big up to you, my man. Appreciate you
see
calling
that,
in.
man.
Big up,
And
Chris.
we'll see you next season in the Premier League.
Yes, thank God. Come on, man.
Come on.
Come on. Thank you, guys.
Big up to Chris. Now is what you've all been waiting for. Let's get Stel on the show. Stellegation.
Why is your name changed, Stel? Yeah.
It's
What's wrong?
no
Change your name.
longer a reality, Stel. It can't happen. You've missed the boat. You can't. No belief in the world is going to make Stellegation happen this season. We've stayed up. We will be a Premier League team next season, Stel. What is your reaction to Stellegation failing?
Good evening, Sim. Good evening, Marlon. Good evening, everyone in the chat.
Stel.
So my name has changed because I'm on my iPhone because it's the only way I can get internet, and I don't know how to change the name on the iPhone. So if you want to change it, Sammy, feel free. You're more than welcome.
To what?
What do you want to change it to?
Whatever you want.
Stellegation is
Whatever gets the most clicks and likes. There you go. Whatever baits the most amount of people. Yeah, I'm gutted, man. I'm gutted. I'm just. Enoch have got away with it. They've absolutely got away with it again, and we're going to have to go for another 2-3 years of another project, another story, until we get to that point of where it fails, and we're going to be back here again. Unfortunately.
So you wanted us to lose today?
I wanted us to get relegated so we can either destroy Enoch or force them to change their ways. But now, what's going to happen is they're going to buy 3 or 4 half-decent players in the summer. We'll get rid of a couple of players that are deadwood. We'll probably finish top 6.
Well, that's pretty good. I'll take top 6 right now.
Yeah, I think every fan would. Because we finished 5th with Ange when we had no Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll finish top. If we sign 3 or 4 really good players, and we don't have an injury crisis again, then I think we will finish top 6 because that's what Ange did when we didn't have Europe. And then it'll come to that point where we've got a back actually challenging for top 4 and trophies, and it'll be an all right transfer window. Then it will slowly unravel because they're not going to do what it takes because they don't know how to do what it takes. Because as long as they're financially comfortable, guys, they don't need to. There's no reason for them to try and win the league. There's no pressure from the fans to win the league. There's no knowledge of how to win a league. You look at Arsenal. I mean, I hate them with every bone in my body, but you look at their owners. They won the Super Bowl with the LA Rams. They won ice hockey. I think it was with Colorado, some team called Colorado. They won basketball, NBA title with the Denver Nuggets, and now they've won the league title with Arsenal. The Cronkies have a track record in buying sports franchises and turning them into elite winners. So there was a path for them to get there in the end, and they've proven it. And they backed it, and when the going got tough, they made wholesale changes at boardroom level. They got rid of Vinay, they got rid of Edu, they brought in Better, and they basically they won the league. So are we going to do that? Are our owners going to do that?
I mean, history says no.
No, but 17th and 17th, 2 years in a row. And obviously seeing West Ham go down because they've got bad owners and Wolves have got bad owners. They must look at it. They must be able to see something that if they keep doing what they're doing, Spurs will get relegated.
Just give 1 second. 1 second. Okay. 1 second, guys. Sorry. Excellent. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, just someone wants to speak to me, and I'm on a live stream.
But as per usual. So I was saying, but we finished 17th and 17th 2 seasons in a row. We've seen West Ham get relegated from bad ownership. We've seen Wolves get relegated because of bad ownership. Do you not think the board will reflect on it at some point and go, I know what we've seen, but go, actually, if we keep running this badly, we're gonna be in the same situation next year and get relegated?
No, because they'll do what's needed to get us back to the top. The ownership knows how to get into Europe.
Okay.
The ownership knows how to get Spurs into Europe. Look, this is what Enix do. When they're financially distressed, they invest and they come up with solutions to fix it. So whenever we drop out of Europe, we spend quite a bit of money. We were on the brink of relegation, which would have cost us a couple of $100 million. So they go and throw £60 million at Zerbi. They always spend big when we fall off of the financial rewards that football provides. But when we drop off from that, they go big and they push back up. Whenever we ever pushed big, when we finished fourth, name one season when we finished top 4, and we really, we went for it.
That's when they were settling, right?
Yeah.
They settled.
So to me, it doesn't matter, because we will get back to that place at some point, whether it's next year, 4 years time, 5. We will get back there, and then they don't know what to do. They have no idea what to do, because, like I explained, the Cronkies, they know what to do. They've got a track record in doing it. Chelsea and Man City know what to do, because they hire the best in class, the best negotiators, the best marketing team, the best coaches, the best recruitment officers, and they throw ridiculous money at it. That's how they've done it in the past. Man United know how to do it because they've got a history of doing it. We have no idea how to do it. And who have we got in place right now? We've got Lange. We've got Vinay, who Arsenal kicked out in order for them to progress to the next stage. Let's have it right. Vinay got managed out of Arsenal for a reason. And then we've got people like Charrington, Belcher, the Lewis kids. These are all investment bankers and property developers. Who in this club, guys, is going to lead the footballing project to get it over the line? Where's the experience? Where's the knowledge? Who's going to build the scouting systems and the elite level recruitment processes needed to compete with Liverpool, to compete with Man United, to compete with Arsenal for the major honours?
Yeah, but is that their aim? Because if you look at it, like you said, they always settle for the top 4. Maybe that's what the aim is and always has been. So why do we expect for Tottenham Hotspur to be challenging for league titles? That would be their question.
Well, then my response to that is, what is the point of Enix? If you're not going to take Tottenham to a different level, what is the point? You've had 25 years to come up with a plan, to come up with a project, to come up with a process, to come up with a philosophy, an identity, to have a pathway for the academy kids to filter into the first team.
But wouldn't you say that...
To have proper scouting, proper recruitment, to not mismanage the finances in transfers, to sell players at the right time. They've had 25 years to suss it out. Everyone said to me, Marlon, everyone said to me, why do you want us to get relegated? And I said, because it's the only way this lot are ever going to change. And people say to me, but they don't know how to change. Okay, so if they don't know how to change, it doesn't matter what Zerbi does, because they don't know how to change. And, Zerbi's a top manager, guys. When we signed him, I was delighted. I was so happy because he's exactly the kind of manager I like. But he's got one arm tied behind his back when it comes to the crunch. Because Enix don't know what to do. They don't know what to do.
In terms of the job he's done, Zerbi, keeping us in the Premier League, what would you think? What would you say about that?
Quality. Never in the history of the Premier League has a team in relegation changed their manager with 7 games to go, and that manager saved them. Teams have changed with 11 games to go, but never with 7. Zerbi's broken the record for joining a team in a relegation battle with so few games left. The guy won us 11 points in the last 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
Mate, he won a game of football at home today. We won a game in our stadium.
Yeah, when you put it like that.
When's the last time we won a game at home? I think it was it November?
Yeah.
Zerbi's the real deal guy. He's a proper manager. He's a proper coach. But so was Conte. So was Poch. You know, we've had these managers before. They're all good in a different way. But
So wait, Stel. So you agree?
we go with De Zerbi. You know, where do we
Yeah.
go? ENIC is still here.
So you agree, but you not agree. You say De Zerbi's a great manager. So you kind of that's one part of the puzzle we have, right? With De
Tim,
Zerbi.
I'll take it back. He's not great because he's not a massive trophy winner. He's very good. He's
a very good manager, but he's like in terms of having here, like if we were in terms of us being well run, having someone like De Zerbi, that's the he's a good manager. It's good to have him. So what do you need to see now between now and the start of next season to have belief that we can go places under De Zerbi, under this ownership?
It's not happening under this ownership. That's the whole point. It's not happening.
But what do you have to see to start to think that it could? What would you have to see this summer?
Chairman, a new football director, a new recruitment officer, a pathway for the academy kids to play for Tottenham Hotspur instead of us wasting 40 million on Tell, 30 million on Odebert, 40 million on Archie Gray. Since we went down Project Youth, the club collapsed. 17th twice in a row since we went down Project Youth. So rather than wasting all that money on Project Youth, invest it in actual quality players. And if you want to bring youngsters in, let the academy kids be those players because it's free. It doesn't cost us. It doesn't take away from our ability to spend on actual proven players like the Mohamed Kuduses, like the James Madisons. Rather than taking money away from that pool, keep that pool of money flowing for those types of players and only allow the academy kids, unless you sign a wonder kid, unless we find the next Yamal or the next Gareth Bale, like we know we've signed a really hot talent, then okay, I get it. So that needs to change. You know, there's a lot of things that needs to change. But are ENIC going to do it? Are ENIC going to get rid of Vinay? Are ENIC going to get rid of Lange? Are ENIC going to actually demand that at least 2 academy players per year play for Tottenham Hotspur instead of spending money on Tells and Odeberts and all this nonsense? Is De Zerbi actually going to have the final say on transfers? Because what I'm hearing is we're about to sign Robertson. Well, with all due respect, we wanted Robertson in January when De Zerbi wasn't here. So if we sign Robertson, that's not a De Zerbi signing. That's a club signing. So already the alarm bells are going off in my head. Whereas most fans will say, give it time, be patient, De Zerbi can coach him, De Zerbi's cooking. I've heard all these things like a million times before. If we sign Robertson, then De Zerbi's beginning to show the early signs of being another yes man. And that's when it goes wrong. So are all these things going to change? I don't think so. I think we've got the right manager. In fact, I know we've got the right manager. We've got the right manager. We just don't have the right ownership, Sim. I need to see major changes in the summer across the board for me to begin to say, okay, you know what? I'll bite my tongue for a year or two and give it time. Because when Arteta went to Arsenal, they changed everything. Mm-hmm. Chairman, coaching team, recruitment officers. They started filtering the academy kids into the first team. Everything changed there.
Yeah, but that took some time. That weren't overnight. Like, you got to remember, Vinay was there around De Zerbi, around Arteta time. So it has taken age. And you got to remember, this was the same club that wanted their ball out. They wanted them gone.
Yeah, but ENIC have been here for 25 years, Marlon.
Yeah, I get that. But
the Cronkies have only owned 100% of Arsenal for 7 years. And in 7 years, they've delivered an FA Cup and a league title. I agree, it takes time. But Sim asked me, what do I need to see in terms of changes? And for me, I need to see a new football director. I don't want to see this dual role. I don't want to see Lange working with someone else. We tried that last year. It doesn't work. There's a conflict there. If one football director wants one player, but then Lange wants the other, then what do we do? Where does that leave the manager? One football director, one head of recruitment. I need to see a new chairman because Vinay's not that guy. Vinay couldn't do it at Arsenal. He couldn't get Arsenal to where they wanted. They got rid of him. So what's the point of us having him here? He's proven he can't do it. That's why they got rid of him. So he needs to go. I don't know why Charrington's here. I don't know what this Belcher guy does. You know, he stepped in to overrule Lange and Vinay to get rid of Frank. So Vinay's role has already been proven to be redundant because at any stage he'll be overruled. So what's the point of him being chairman? Because some random guy who does property deals can just step in at any time and say, no, Mr. Chairman, listen to me. Well, that's not how to run a football club. So all these people need to go, because what will happen is we'll create a bottleneck, and that bottleneck will hold us back. And I agree, Marlon, it does take time. It does.
Yeah.
But how much more time are we Spurs fans going to give, man? We've given them 25 years. What? We're going to give them another 5 years?
Well, Chris said apparently after the game today there was some chanting against ENIC, and there was change for Tottenham did say after the game, let's turn our attentions to the board, and apparently that was done at full time today. So maybe there will be some pressure applied from the fans, hopefully.
Change for Tottenham is dead. The protesting is dead. Fans taking action is dead. It's over. It's over, Sim. As much as I'd love it to ramp up and really become this big movement, it's dead. For me, it's dead.
It's not more dead than Stelegation. That's more dead.
Stelegation is finished. The
For a
dream is
season.
over. The hope
still happen.
has died. But in life, you don't always get what you want. I wanted us to win a trophy last year, and we did. And I was dancing in the streets. I was singing in Bilbao. This year, I wanted us to go down, and I didn't get what I want. So you can't. Not all your dreams can come true, Sim.
So
right?
wait, Stel, would you rather be West Ham today in their position, having them gone down?
I want whatever it takes for ENIC to either be forced to change everything they do, or for them to go. Whatever that takes. Now, I believe the only way that will ever happen is if the fans do it.
Can we?
Fans, no, can't.
Because
We don't have the same mentality as the other clubs, Marlon.
yeah, but even them, like, how many? And I hate to quote bloody Sean in this, but when you're asking for a change, someone to come in and buy the club, it's very, very hard until someone puts an offer on the table for someone to come in and buy the club. It takes time, and I get what you mean. We've got to make it uncomfortable. And again, as Spurs fans, do we have the stomach to make it uncomfortable for these owners? And again, so we're in two parallel universes.
So what you're saying to me is there's two options. Either we do something about this ownership, or we tell ourselves there's nothing we can do, so we just accept it. All right, well, we've accepted it for how many years? Where's it got us?
Yeah, but this is the question.
Where is this getting us? Before ENIC took over, we were the record holders for the most FA Cup wins. We'd won more.
But
if you look at every cup competition,
yeah,
the
but
league,
that wasn't ENIC.
the league,
But
and FA Cup.
You said on many occasions that wasn't ENIC's remit. It wasn't to win trophies. We know this.
Right. So if their remit is to not win trophies, what is the point of another project? Where are we going with it?
But this is the question.
Well, my belief is we're all going to get behind Zerbi. We're all going to jump on another project process plan. We're all going to get excited. We're all going to see better football. So we're going to think, yeah, this is it now. But we are going to get to that point, right? Every club gets to that point. Arsenal got there in the summer, and they said, right, we need a new football director. They brought him in. They signed Gyökeres, Eze, Hincapié, and Zubimendi. And that was that final piece. It got them over the line. But they spent big, man. They spent big money. 75 million Eze, 50 million here. Don't forget 100 million Declan Rice. Liverpool got to that point. They said, right, we need to do something. 75 million Alisson, 75 million Van Dijk. Every club gets to that moment where they've got to do something like that. That is the game-changing moment. Are we going to do that? Are ENIC going to do that? Do they know how to do that? Do they know how to get these deals over the line? Do they know how to attract those players? Do they know how to pay big wages to the right players, not the wrong players? Or are we going to take another punt on a Moani? Are we going to take another punt on a Pape Sarr? Is that what we're going to do? Because that's their track record. That is the history of ENIC. And people say to me, oh, but this is their first, it's the first season without Daniel Levy. Okay. What did we do in January when we were absolutely on our knees? We couldn't score a goal. Levy's not here. What did we do? We signed Gallagher. Yeah. We signed Sousa and a kid. And then we wonder why Frank got sacked and why we nearly got relegated. Even De Zerbi today, none of our attackers scored. Yet again, Paulinho. By the way, can I just say, all those fans that disrespected Paulinho and said, trust the manager when Paulinho was on the bench. I hope every fan now realises the importance that he needs to start every game. I hope every fan now realises Paulinho is the best midfielder in our club. He's the one that saved us so many times. He scored the winner against Wolves. He scored the winner today. You know, I remember people criticising and questioning, saying, oh, but he's not playing well. Oh, but trust the manager. When Paulinho didn't play against Sunderland, I had a go at Zerbi. I came on and saying, what is Zerbi doing? Like, why, are you dropping Paulinho? So I hope now people realise the importance of Paulinho. But again, it took a defensive midfielder to score today, guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
But Thomas Frank never got given any strikers or attackers. Tudor never, obviously, we weren't going to sign players because the window was closed. And De Zerbi inherited this squad. We're just fortunate that midfielders and defenders like Porro popped up and scored goals for us. Otherwise, we would have got relegated.
All right, Stel. Well, you didn't get what you wanted, but we are in the Premier League next season. Looks like everyone but you is breathing a huge sigh of relief tonight. And hopefully next season we can improve.
We will improve next season, and we will get back into Europe at some point, and we will get into the top 4 eventually. But then what? That's the bit I'm trying to make. You
have to make peace.
That's
with
the
it
bit.
still.
Huh?
You might have to make peace with it because you're not going to get your trophies. You're just going to get exactly what you just said, back into top 4, probably back into Europe, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
and a lot of Spurs fans are happy with that, by the way.
And that is the loser mentality. When we're not a big club, if that's the case, and I'm sorry to say it, that's not how the big club's fans think, and that's not how the big club's fans behave when it comes to demanding a certain level from their owners. If we accept that yet again, then that just goes to show we are not a big club. We're not, because big clubs don't think like that, and they definitely don't just accept that. Getting top 4 is not a trophy. Getting top 4 is not success. Simply getting into Europe and to the odd semi-final, that's not we're called the Big Six. Let's start being in the Big Six, Otherwise, what's the point of this? We're only going to end up having these conversations in a few years' time again, guys. So anyway, look, let fans enjoy it. A lot of fans are relieved. A lot of fans are happy we stayed up, and it's a big moment for a lot of fans, and they're going to be partying and drinking. I just can't get on board with something until I see that we are going to be more than just this team that wants to finish in Europe. If that is the ambition of this club, that is not ambition, in my opinion. So I'll leave it there. And guys, enjoy your evening. I'm sure you're happy, so enjoy it.
Relieved.
Relieved is why.
Yeah, not happy.
Not happy, but definitely relieved. I appreciate you coming on, Stel. Stellegation is dead for a while, another year, but you always got home next season, Stel. Big up to you.
Yeah, we're getting into Europe next year. Mark my words. We'll get into Europe.
There you go. All right. Stellegation going on a European tour next year. Love it. See you soon, mate.
Yeah.
There was Stelios. No Stel. That's his name's not Brian, Sammy.
Yeah. Change Nate's name.
But big up to Stel. Are there any quotes coming out from Zerbi? Let's see what he's had to say after the game today. He has said, from tonight, we need to build the new team. We don't need to change too many players, he says. We have 10, 11, 12 players who are good enough to stay as players and people. Now we need to compete. The squad with the first level of players, because I suffered too much, but so did the players, the board and the fans. We can't suffer like this as Tottenham Hotspur. That's interesting.
Interesting. De Zerbi, please don't go down that route.
So what he's saying, he says, we have 10, 11 players who are good enough to stay as players and people. So 12 players out of a squad of how many? 26.
So,
he says we don't need to change too many players.
But when you look at it as a 26-man squad, he's got a lot of players.
He says we don't need to change too many players, but only 12 players are good enough.
Unless he's thinking, I don't know.
I mean, without mean selling 14 players.
Yeah.
So how can you say we don't need to change too many and then say we need to sell 14?
Mate, we're going to work out the Zerbi now. We've got to work out his character and the things he says now. This is it, Sim. This is what you and Ben are here for. This is why you have 200,000 subscribers.
Come on. He says, football is nice because if you give your best, you receive everything back from football. I think we deserve to stay up. We deserve more. My players played a fantastic game. He said, Jed Spence came to my house yesterday and said he wanted to play. He said, you're always talking about character and courage, and I'm here if you need me. Oh, that's nice from Jed. All right, let's get Nate on. Let's see what he's got to say. Nate, big up to you, my guy.
What's going on, guys?
Oh,
big up to you guys for 200K.
Thank you, Nate. Big up to you. It's people like you that obviously make the channel what it is. So big up to you as well. But we got through it by the skin of our teeth today, didn't we? Last day of the season, staying up. What was your overriding feelings today?
Well, I guess because I'm in Canada, like I woke up with a heart attack, and through the match I was having a heart attack, and towards the end, my heart attack faded. But I'm like, wow. I mean, the fact that we're even in this situation is, I couldn't even imagine it for years. Like back-to-back 17th, like Big Six, they say, it's wild, man. It's wild. But no, it's shocking that we're even here. But I'm relieved that we stayed up, and even I'm thankful. But it's hard for me to go too far and be overgassed because this club's too big to even be in this situation. And I'm fearful for the future. And I know Stella was talking a lot on it, but there's not really any track record of this club, doing the right things for a consistent amount of time. So I don't know what the future's going to hold for this club, but I'm thankful that we have Zerbi. Well, I say that, but then I just heard the quotes, and now I'm kind of worried about a bunch of players staying. So I don't know. The mind games with Zerbi, maybe he's playing them right now, or maybe he's just, saving face. But there's a lot of work to do with the squad. A lot.
Yeah, he's an old one. He says we don't need to change too many players, and he says we have about 12 players who are good enough. So it's like, well, that is a lot of change.
The math doesn't really working out on that one there.
Doesn't really work
Math
out.
ain't mathing.
The relegation's getting to him.
Already, exactly. In terms of the game today, in a big moment, massive pressure on the players. I thought they really stood up today, didn't they? It was a good performance. We deserved the win.
Yeah, that first half was phenomenal. Like, even with all the pressure surrounding the game, the fact that we played that well in the first half, I was shocked. Like, I couldn't ask for a better second half from the players. The second half, it was always going to be nervy, and then when West Ham scored, it kind of filtered through the stadium. Like, you could see everyone checking their phones. That's what we saw on TV, and like I feel like the players kind of knew that too. So the nerves just got there to the players, but it was kind of similar to the Europa League, right? Like, we just needed that one goal to go up, because if we conceded first, who knows what could have happened. But that we got that first goal, and that was just enough for us to be able to see it over the line. And props to the players. Like, the performance, again, second half wasn't a great watch, but the first half was phenomenal. But I'm just thankful that the mental fortitude of the players was enough to keep us up. That's what I really look towards, and I'm glad we can put the season behind us and look forward to what Zerbi has in store for us.
Yeah, and in terms of that, what do you think he does have in store for us? Do you think he's the right guy that could get us back to where we want to be, challenging near the top?
It's tough because I always said, like, after Thomas Frank did mad things to me, I can't lie. Like, after Thomas Frank, I had to give it a minute because I fell into the trap of your brother and Brian, just like, oh, I gotta get behind Frank. And lo and behold, this guy just one of our worst managers probably ever. So I listen, I love Zerbi a lot. He's a fantastic manager. The way that he's been able to change the mindset. The mindset is the biggest thing. Change the mindset of these players. Get them enjoying playing on the ball in such a short amount of time. Like, I think, like, I know you guys always read off the stats of, like, changing a manager this late usually doesn't work out. And the fact that it did says a lot about Zerbi. And he's never really been in a relegation battle like this or coming in a situation like this. It's usually like a Moyes or, like those type of managers that come in late and save clubs from these situations playing, negative football. But Zerbi came in, he played, he wanted us to be brave on the ball, play semi-attacking football, and he managed to save us with like 7 games to go. So I think he has all the talent in the world, and I think this is the guy for us. But with that being said, next season's a whole new challenge. It's 1 game a week, yeah, but I remember under Ange, after we had the first season, after we had the injury crisis and we lost to Chelsea that first match, we almost were kind of asking for that second game a week because You know, we saw it this season. Like if we get a win in Champions League or even Europa League as well last season, that can kind of change the momentum. Versus now, it's going to be if we have a bad game, we're going to have to sit on that for a week, and then if things start to spiral again, then who knows what could happen. But it's really going to come down to the board. Long story short, it's going to come down to the board. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. What for you? You know, I think we saw or heard at the end of the game today. Apparently, that attention did turn to the board, and I think for me that's absolutely right. But what do we need to see from the board this summer for you to be convinced actually they will back to Zerbi? Actually, things can turn around.
We got to start being ruthless, like we got to start acting like a big club. And the players that don't want to be here, I know Romero showed up today, but let's be real. I'm 95% sure someone probably spoke to Romero saying like, yo, listen, Romero, you got to come back, The players that don't want to be here, the players that aren't good enough, we have to start being cutthroat. Like we can't carry both Richarlison, Solanke, Moani, even dare I say like Italic. We got to start being cutthroat. Like some of those guys got to start leaving. And I just worry that we're going to need probably around 5 to 6 signings, I would say, to really like do a massive overhaul of the squad. But in a World Cup here, and here come the excuses, that the board might throw at us, is there going to be enough time? So it's going to have to take a large overhaul of the squad this summer. It's not going to happen in one summer, don't get me wrong. But to ensure that we don't end up in this situation again, let's start with a couple good signings there, clear out the dead wood, and then we look forward to January, and then we go again the season after that. But it's going to take time. And I'm willing to sit through that if we back to Zerbi, that is. If we're going to sack him, then all hell breaks loose again. But if we back to Zerbi, I'm willing to sit through the painful rebuild, the same way that, them lot endured for a couple years. So
I'm just reading some Zerbi quotes. He's apparently Zerbi said in his press conference he admitted that he was thinking about making Kinski captain for today to boost his confidence because of how good he's been and give him a little bit of recognition for his form. In terms of Kinski, is he our number one now? What do you think?
And this is the tough conversation, right? It's like
You heard me earlier, didn't you?
I love Kinski, but there is also something to be said about like what do we need to do to ensure that we never end up back here, right? It'd be harsh to not give it to Kinski. It'd be harsh. I'm hearing rumors of like Vicario not going anymore either. I think Inter Milan is having doubts about Vicario.
Don't say that.
So, I don't know. One of the ITKs has been saying that. So, listen, if we have to stick with Vicario and Kinski, I'm willing to do that if it means that Kinski's a starter and it kind of shoves the card to the back end. But like we can only sign so many players, you know what I mean? Like a goalkeeper, 35 million, like a Trafford. Then we need like a winger. Apparently we're gonna sign Robertson, which is a mistake. I know it's a free, but we got to pick and choose where the money's gonna go. So I'd say you give it to him, but it's definitely a risk. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Just say no. We need a goalkeeper. I always said when you look at it, you got a good point about where the money goes, but it needs to go in your core players. So when I say core players, it needs to be you need to have one good central defender, one good central midfielder, one good attacker, and one good goalkeeper. Right now we have 2 average goalkeepers, and James Trafford for me is not any better than what we've got. I do not.
You think
like
so?
James. Yeah, I don't like James. He showed it in the cup final how vulnerable he can be, and I think we need better than that. You've got to be. Look, you've seen what Arsenal have done with Raya. You've seen what Donnarumma. You've got to look at these goalkeepers and the level we need. If you don't have a good goalkeeper, look at Villa. Emi Martinez, a very good goalkeeper. Like we're nowhere near that. Like Kinski and Vicario probably don't get into most Premier League teams as in their number one, and that's what we got to look at. So for me, that's why I'm going. We need a better goalkeeper because otherwise we're going to be in this situation again.
But the market, like the goalkeeper market, isn't exactly like exploding with talent either, right?
Yeah, but there'll be talent out there. Look, I'm not sitting there saying, look, for me, the club should know which kind of goalkeepers are out there because what you have to do, you have to go and find that gem in the goalkeeper. And that's what it is right now. You have to go and find the gem. And when Villa went and signed Martinez, yes, he was going around and what he did, but they found something. He was older, but they managed to get a good goalkeeper in the end. Spurs got to go and do the same. If they've got the recruitment and the talent ID that they say they have, I know what we're saying. I know.
Yeah, I don't know if they do.
But when it comes to something like this, they've got to really think. And for me, I think I loved Kinski and I like what he's done in the last 7 games has been absolutely phenomenal. But if we're us Spurs fans are looking at it going, we don't want to be in this situation again. And like you said, when he asked you the question, you saw your face. So even you're not convinced by what. Yeah, and that's why you have to look at it and go, if we're going to lose players like Romero in the summer, who's a top quality defender, no matter what we want to do, you've only really got Van der Ven. Danso's okay, and Danso does a job, but you've got to make sure your core line, like I said, is absolutely brilliant. And right now, we don't even have a midfielder. We don't have a striker. So,
but that's exactly my point, because even now under De Zerbi, like, there hasn't been too much of a big defensive shift. It's just that we're keeping the ball better.
Exactly.
So if we just sign players that are just of the quality that we need, could we get away with a Kinski? Like if we replace Romero with someone, obviously we're not going to get as good as Romero, sign a proper midfielder. Could De Zerbi's systems and tactics allow for Kinski to be, like shielded essentially?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, and
with one game a week as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing that really worries me is the goals he has let in. And that's what worries me. Even though he's been really good and saved them, it's the goals that we have let in. Between him and look, if I could merge him and Vicario into one goalkeeper, it'd be brilliant.
It'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be good talking. But
it was the shot against Chelsea, the Enzo Fernandez's goal, when I went, that's why I'm worried about Kinski. Because we've shielded him today. Our midfield was so good, we've shielded him. And then the one shot, if that ball goes anywhere more to the left, I don't think Kinski said it was at him. And he has. For me, it was a great save because it was a pressure moment. But if he had let it in, I tell you now, all of us would have been moaning because we'd have been like, it's straight at him.
Yeah, but that Chelsea one, that does ring a bell, because I was even saying during that Chelsea shot, I was like, it's a good shot,
but he moved too late.
I think
I saw it because I was behind the goal. I was watching it, and I said he moved way too late. So I was like, okay, but I was like, I'm not sitting there gonna thingy him. But for me, I just don't think he could be our first team goalkeeper going forward. But I don't think Vicario would be. But if like you said, if you had the choice, I agree with you. Out of the two of them, because of the way De Zerbi wants to play, you're going to pick Kinski because he's the ball at his feet. And I think
what about Paulinho? He scored today, been crucial in keeping us in the league. De Zerbi's been very vocal about wanting him to stay. Do you think we should sign him permanently?
I think we should, but it just creates a major headache in terms of the squad. And this is where I talk about being ruthless. Like, Sarr's going to have to go, and it makes the Gallagher, I know Gallagher's been better, but it makes the Gallagher signing even more just outlandish because it just takes up another spot, right? But I would love to sign Paulinho because he offers something different compared to what we already currently have. But we're going to have to be ruthless. Like, Sarr's going to probably have to go, and potentially one of Bergvall or Gray's going to have to go on loan. And I'm actually, just to touch on this quickly, I was actually happy to see that Gray got minutes because I think it's been a bit harsh for him not to get minutes, and I know he was our player of the season as well. But he hasn't been getting minutes under De Zerbi, but he got some minutes today, and I'm happy that, that De Zerbi trusted him. But there's going to be a lot of decisions to be made in midfield in terms of selling players. So, Sarr, I'm going to have to go.
But on the Gray one, because you just said you're happy to see him get minutes, but as soon as he stopped getting minutes, we started to win games. Because we had two midfielders in there.
I know what you're trying to do, but I don't think that was down to Gray. If I'm being, I don't think that was down to Gray. I don't think it was.
Yeah, but do you know? But when you put two midfielders that are competent and are able to, because I know he got voted player of the season, but it was in a team that basically lost pretty much every game. But as soon as Bentancur and Paulinho came back in that middle, did no one actually, especially Bentancur, did no one realize we started to get 3 points on the board?
It wasn't too long ago, and I know it feels like so long ago, but Bentancur, Paulinho, and Thomas Frank were not what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, but he dropped him, didn't he? Because of everyone was talking about how Paulinho weren't, and they stopped playing because everyone was moaning. And then they stopped playing. Bentancur then got injured. Paulinho then was coming in, and he started playing everyone else. But actually, when it was Paulinho and Bentancur, I think they lost away at Arsenal, which was terrible. But if you look at the away games before that, there's a reason why we were fourth best team because of those two.
Yeah, it's a tough conversation. I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you, but
they're tough
I'm gonna
conversations,
back
but
my guy
listen,
Archie Gray. I'm gonna back my guy Archie Gray here. Like, I don't think us losing these many games like where we're at is down to him. I think he was actually one of the people that were actually keeping us there. But I understand, and I think in situations like this, those experienced heads like a Paulinho and Bentancur definitely help us far more than Archie Gray would. It could just be like there might be situations where like a Gray would be perfect, where like Paulinho, as we saw against Chelsea, Paulinho wasn't good against Chelsea.
Yeah, Paulinho was terrible against Chelsea. I totally agree with you. But
there's going to have to be some decisions.
Do you think between Bergvall and Gray, because those are the two young players that got come in, Who do you have more trust in?
I'm taking Gray. I'm taking Gray on, if I'm being honest. It also helps for the squad building numbers as well, like the homegrown and that type of stuff as well. But yeah, Bergvall has had a horrible season, but he has been injured too, so there's something to say about that. Again, tough decisions.
Tough, yeah.
I'm kind of thinking like I'm not going to be the one to make them. So
We're not. Neither am I. Thank God.
yeah. but I think Bergvall could actually use a loan. I think it'd actually be beneficial to him potentially. You know, get him to like hopefully maybe like a Prem club that's coming up. I think that'd be ideal for him. But yeah, if I'm being honest, I'd rather take Gray over Bergvall. Full stop.
Nate, appreciate you calling,
pleasure,
mate. Love to see you.
Yeah,
Loving to see you
big
as
ups.
always.
Big ups.
We'll
Congrats
catch
on
you in a
200K
bit.
again. That's the
Thank
big
you.
win of this day. Not Spurs, it's you guys.
Come on, big up, Nate. Big up to you. Appreciate that.
Big up,
Okay,
Nate.
guys.
All right, that was Nate. Let's get Jake.
Yeah.
Where's he walking? Was he around the stadium?
No.
He's
No,
it's
boys,
nighttime there.
I'm as far away from the stadium as you could think. I've just been. It's almost 5 a.m. in the morning. We joined the Australian Spurs Melbourne group, and we were sitting.
Okay.
They housed us in the next room with a glass in between the middle with the West Ham fans.
Did it kick off?
Yeah, there was there was tables flipped and there was a few tears, and I tell you what, none of them were from Tottenham.
Come on.
Jake, can I ask a question actually? Because I was thinking about this earlier.
100%.
Was it nervous for you because you had to wait all day and in the middle of the night for this game to happen, rather than us having to wait
extremely.
many hours? Okay.
Yeah, the game kicked off at 1 a.m. So it was a horrible time because it wasn't late enough that you could sleep and wake up in the middle of the night. So it was about probably 20 hours worth of nervousness. But I will tell you, even from all the way in Melbourne, every single person, the whole 90 minutes, very quiet, very nervous. At the end, I reflected on it and thought, I've supported Tottenham now for about 20 years. And I had to celebrate on paper us not we celebrated like Bilbao, that we didn't get relegated. We won nothing. We came 17th and tables were flipped like it was the Europa League final. And in 12 months, the contradiction of how poorly the club has been run to the point that I celebrated the same way I did as Bilbao and was more nervous than Bilbao because we finished 17th again 2 years in a row. And we celebrated quite loudly and quite poorly at the same time because there was the sense of nerves for 90 minutes. No one enjoyed watching the match. We were all just ready for...
Yeah.
The number one prediction I heard was Richie takes his shirt off 10 minutes in, scores the first goal, we lose 2-1.
But you got to say, we did play well today, though. I understand at times it was nervy, especially near the end, but the players in a really pressurised moment. It's similar to, a year ago in Bilbao when it came to this big game, which was a lot of pressure on. We got the job done.
We did. I think we played well, but Everton, you can tell Everton were mostly at the beach already mentally. There was a few Everton boys in with us watching the match as well, and they all said, about probably 10 minutes in, they said, our team's done for the year. They're ready to go on holidays. And a lot of the Everton boys, the smaller portion are going to the World Cup compared to other teams. And a few of the Everton boys were saying that their season's finished and they're done. It was a nervous finish. It was probably only about as soon as extra time hit, a few minutes in, I thought, okay, we're safe. But it was a fantastic atmosphere. We packed out the Imperial Hotel. Boys, congratulations on the 200,000. I've supported the channel now for a very, very long time. And from Australia to Tottenham and all across the world, come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Just come on.
Appreciate you, Jake. Thanks for calling in, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Jake.
Thank you.
I was thinking about it earlier because which time zone would you rather be in for a game like this? Because we have to wait till 4 o'clock, so we have to wait till after lunchtime. But in America and Canada, when I was going to ask Nate as well, they wake up and the game's on. So they don't have to wait as long. But in Australia, they're going to have to wait all day.
Yeah, wait till, oh my God.
That would be a torture. Because even waiting till 4 o'clock for us is a nightmare. Speaking of didn't have to wait that long.
Let's get Ross on the show. Come on, Ross. Big up to you, my friend.
Hey,
Nice to
long
see
time
you.
no see, boys.
Yeah, it's been too long. How you been?
I've been pretty good, man. Work, West Coast, the U.S. times, and then of course, what's going on this year. But I had to come on back for the last one. Congratulations on 200K, guys. Well
Thank you.
deserved. Love you guys. You guys are the ones that gave me opportunity, and I will always appreciate you guys for that.
Big up to you, Ross. We got the job done today, didn't we? Just about by the skin of our teeth. It was a good performance, but when we really needed to, we got the job done.
Yep. Let me go. Safe. Give you a little baseball, a little American flavor there. That's yes, we did, and it was great to see. I was pretty confident that we would stay up just based on the results and the little run we went on and everything. But how has it gone this year? When everything seems to kind of fall in place for us, what happens? But they did a fantastic job. Crowd was behind them. They went out there. You saw them, making a good tackle and getting up and being charged up, and it was great to see them all pull in and a home win. I mean,
I know.
those have been rare. How long? When did we ever think that we'd be excited when the home wins were rare? It's crazy, but it's great. Zerbi's done a fantastic job. I mean, I can't say enough of how good of a job that guy's done coming into this mess and bringing these guys together, getting them to believe. When I saw some of those first training sessions and I saw him out there with those guys, working with them, explaining things, not just standing there chomping away at gum like that other guy did. It was great. So it's fantastic. It's a huge relief.
Yeah, it really is. And in terms of the job Zerbi has done, like what do you want to say about that? Came in, we were down in the doldrums, but he's managed to just about keep us up.
Yeah, he got these guys to believe. He's there with them. He said, "Look, I'm here. I'm with you guys. We're going to do this." He's not in there, looking at iPads, doing analytics and all that, number stuff or whatever. No, he's out there, said, "This is the way we're going to play. This is what we're going to do." He got guys playing in positions they're comfortable in playing in too. He's not playing all these guys out of position, asking him to do anything. He said, "Hey, just go out there, play. Look to win that ball high up the pitch, keep the ball," because that was our big problem, as other people have said. We couldn't keep the ball. We couldn't hang on to the ball. Now we're doing that. And plus, you win that ball higher up the pitch, it gives your defense a break. You're helping your defense out. So, a guy like Kinski can really, have a little bit of pressure off of him, and he's not constantly, under siege with shots coming at him left, right, and center.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that is very rare to see in terms of since Zerbi's come in, our defense has gotten a lot better, but it's not because we've gone defensive. It's because we're defending with the ball. We're keeping the ball better, so we're defending less. And a lot of people said when Zerbi first came in, what you need is a Sean Dyche, or you need a, Sam Allardyce. You need someone who's going to grind out results. But he's just done it in a different way, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And, we tried that behind the ball stuff, and it didn't work. We just don't have the team that can do that. We don't have you got to have specific guys that can play that way. And we just don't have those guys that can just absorb that pressure. And then, they just keep retreating back. And then, what was happening all year long was happening. So, that's definitely how you do it. And he did it the right way. And he just deserves, massive credit. And, the passion, I love that. That's something that everybody can get behind. Conte, that's one thing I really liked about Conte as well. It's his passion, and he was out there and reacting on the touchline. And then that just gets everybody going.
Yeah, 100%. That passion he showed today, obviously running onto the pitch. A lot of people saying, should we be celebrating like that just for staying up? Is it more, or was it more embarrassing that we're ever in that position? What did you think about the celebrations today?
No, I think that's good. And you really saw the relief on those players' faces. I mean, there was a shot with like Madison and Archie, and you just look at them and they're just, and somebody was down on the ground. I mean, it's just a tremendous relief for them. And yeah, I think, there's a little bit of celebration there because it was a great result. It was a great day. We did the work to stay up and we did it. But yeah, it's a little more relief, but I don't think it's embarrassing. I mean, you shouldn't be embarrassed to celebrate a win in any situation.
Definitely. In terms of looking forward to next season now, we got the job done today. There's been so many question marks and nerves about what happens if we go down and this and that. Now we are staying up with the likes of potentially Robertson and Senesi already tied up, it looks like, going into next season. Are you excited about what next season can bring under Zerbi, or is there still a lot of trepidation knowing you know, the decision makers are still going to be there next season?
No, I think I like to see what's going to pan out with the Zerbi. Really, I mean, yeah, we know there's the board, there's that. I mean, we're really hoping there's some changes there because I mean, I think it's really clear that there's some changes that need to be made. Vinay Lange, I think we need to go in a different direction with that. But we have no control over that. But yeah, we really do need to back De Zerbi. We need to give him what he needs. He's shown that he's here, he's committed, to come in, with 7 games to go, do the work. And with the squad he has, I mean, good Lord. I mean, if you think about what he's had to work with, I mean, it's just a miracle what he's been able to get these guys to do. I mean, if he hadn't come in, we definitely would have gone down. But no, I think, and I'm interested to see what goes on with everything. And I think I've got some. I'm just kind of an optimistic person in general. But so yeah, I'm interested to see what goes. And also not having Europe too. 1 game a week, that always helps. Especially with our injury crisis.
Definitely. Yeah, and look, we saw, last time we were not in Europe, we finished 5th under Ange, and maybe De Zerbi could benefit. And also, the fact that he's been here now for 7 games as well will definitely benefit him next season. Understanding the problems aren't going to be new to him next season. He'll know what he wants, what players he will want. He won't need pre-season to work out who he wants to keep and who he doesn't want to keep and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think... definitely, this little period, him coming, this going towards next season is going to be really, really beneficial, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. And that's not it. Then the guys that stay, they know what he wants, they know what he expects. It's not like it sometimes is where we got a new manager in and everybody's now got to get used to the way he does things and the way he wants to play. It's been established. Even the people from outside know, they've seen it. And it's just there in place, and it's not having to forget everything and relearn all new things. And he can really, really hit the ground running, I think.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Ross, appreciate you calling in. Always
good to see you, mate.
My man.
Good to see you guys too.
We'll speak to
you. And
in a
always,
bit.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on. Big up to you, Ross. Let's keep going with the calls. Let's get one second. There's another quote here from De Zerbi. Which players have been crucial to him? He says Dragoshin. Dragoshin was top because he didn't play, but was always positive inside the dressing room, inside the pitch. Bentancur, because Bentancur, when he came back from the injury, he wanted to play. He came to me and said, "Hey, I want to play. I'm ready to play." Paulinho, because at the beginning of my time, he didn't play in Sunderland or against Brighton and Wolves. Ben Davis, yesterday he came to the lodge with us. Spence, before the Chelsea game, came into my office and said he wants to play, and he always speaks about playing with courage, and he was fantastic. Van de Ven, great guy, sensitive guy. I spent a lot of time with him because I consider him the best centre back, left centre back in the league, with Levi Colwell because he was my former player and I can't forget him. But a lot of other players with Charlison and Archie Gray, I can't say just one.
Didn't say anything positive about Richarlison or Gray, though, did he?
No.
He didn't. They mentioned the others, but mentioned those two and them two.
Let's get a 6-yard box on. Yes, mate.
Hello, boys.
Thanks for calling in. Nice to see you. Big relief today, isn't there? Relief is palpable.
Yeah. That was tough to watch, to be honest. Just couldn't enjoy the game at all. Just praying, just end this game, halftime, blow the final whistle, whatever, I was just really, because you can tell there was a lot of pressure, first half we played well. Second half, it was just like, you can tell the players were just defending, just trying to block everything, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters, get it over the line. People saying celebrate, people celebrating. I think gotta take what you've got, really, to be honest. If you want to stop with West Ham fans right now, in a season where Arsenal won the league as well. Imagine if we had been relegated, it would have been really, 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 really sad, to be honest. And and people, we will all be thinking, I wonder what would have happened if we had the Zerbi in the Premier League, that feeling of you thinking what this guy will do with us in the Premier League would have been really, really, really painful to think about. But the players, they turn up at the end of the day, and
They
they
did.
go over the line, got the job
Yeah,
done.
they deserve credit today, don't they? Because it was
Yeah.
a lot of pressure on today's game. And I thought they did play well. They really came
Of
out
course.
and got the job done and deserved the win, didn't they?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they had to because and the good thing about it as well is like we didn't get a draw. We actually won a game at home in front of all the fans. I think Palina did an interview and he said he's never seen the place like that before. That that he was really, really like really happy that they could get the job done for the fans. So because at the end of the day, that's people can say we want the team to be relegated and all that kind of stuff, and I think I can't understand that, to be honest. I would never want my team to be relegated, never. So the owners are there. I think Tottenham fans we are just hoping that they will change their ways. We've got close before, under Poch, and hopefully they can change it because we can't get rid of them. People think they're just gonna sell up and go. These people, they are making a lot of money. Why would you want to sell up and go? So unless we make it uncomfortable, but which I don't think we are at that stage yet as fans. So yeah, we just have to pray, hope, do whatever you believe in, and hopefully next season they give this man players that he needs, and and then we can move up the table.
Yeah, talk to me about your thoughts on Zerbi. He's kept us in the Premier League with 7 games to go. What do you think about the job he's done?
Yeah, I think first when he came in, I was just so happy. I was not even thinking about survival. I was just thinking about the football we'll be playing. So I was just really happy. I was like, wow, we got a manager like Ange, something similar. The players can relate a lot to what he's trying to do. But I was still thinking, yeah, even if we get relegated, I was just praying because I watched his interview and I was praying for him to just say that, oh, I'm going to be here next season, even if we get relegated, because I was just thinking about the football at first, because the football, that's the football that we all want to see and the players want to play. So yeah, I think he's done a great job because even when I never thought we were going to go down. When he came in, that just gave me a lot more confidence as well. And I was just thinking West Ham are just going to be that bad, because I just felt that they could play well in 1 or 2 games, but I just felt that it was just going to be too much for them. And as soon as we got up the table above them, it was a bit difficult for them as well. So. Yeah, but I wouldn't wish relegation on any fan, to be honest, because I don't want to know how they're feeling right now because it must be really terrible. It must be a really bad feeling. But yeah, but we all credit to the manager. He said it that when he came in. I don't want people feeling sorry for themselves. I don't want you putting your head down. I just want you to go there and put in the work, and then once you put in the work, football will give you back what you put in, really, and that's what's happened right now. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, and going forward to next season now, having confirmed our Premier League status, you think next season, under De Zerbi, no European football, can he? What do you think we can achieve next season under him?
Yeah, I think maybe top 5, top 6, top 4. I think fans have to be patient as well, because next season everybody will be thinking, yeah, we're just gonna go out and blow teams away. This that be ball. We just have to be patient, man. Because he's seen the players in a tough situation as well, under pressure. This is like a pre-season for him, mini competition. So the players know what he wants, and it's gonna be. We just have to be patient and just see what happens. And I think if he's backed properly, I think 2 people at the top, they have to go. I'm not even going to mention their names right now because I think that will show me the sign that the board is actually doing something different. And that would be something to give us a little bit of confidence that they're going to change, So, yeah, I think we just have to believe in the manager and trust, And the first thing before we do as well, before we start spending money on any player, we need to look at our medical department. Why are we getting these injuries? I was talking to some of my friends, all Arsenal fans, yesterday, and they were going on about injuries, and I was just saying, you guys don't have a clue. And they kept asking me, but why are you having this much injury? And I was like, I don't know. I think that's the first question we should be asking as well. Premier League, they spend a lot of money. There should be research out there. There should be teams or people out there that could, that knows the reason why. I think that's the first thing we should do, because when we bring in players, we find out that they always get injured as well. Maybe they're getting the diagnosis wrong or something. We need to try and sort that out as well. So that's down to the board to do. But yeah, looking forward to next season.
100%. Appreciate you calling in.
Big
my
up
friend.
6 Yard Box.
Cheers, guys.
Nice to see you.
It's been tough, but
we got there.
We got there eventually. We can all put our feet up now and enjoy the summer really. And
Just relax.
Relax
a bit, exactly. Something we haven't done all season.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Big up to you, mate. Appreciate you calling in.
Cheers, boys. Take care.
Got a super chat from Simon. Gengel says, Enoch sell in the summer, not fit for purpose. Come on, you Spurs. That was super chat, and that is going to be the end of the show. The final watch along of the season. Incredible. Appreciate everyone who's been with us through thick and thin this season.
It's been emotional.
It's been lots of downs, very few ups, but thankfully it ended on a very big one. Thankfully, we are a Premier League team next season. The journey continues. A big thank you.
Party popper.
Party. Come on. Wasn't sure what that was, but apparently it's party popper. Come on. Thank you for all the fans out there who have been with us, watching, all supporting the content, watching all our videos, been with us on all the streams. All the contributors as well, including you, Marlon. Appreciate everyone who's come on, hosted watch-alongs, been part of the shows throughout the whole season, everyone who's called in. It's been a long, hard season, but we've made it through together, always together. And together always, I should say.
And always.
And always.
Yeah.
And appreciate every last one of you. Thank you for helping us reach a 200K. Come on, another big win for today. Appreciate everyone who's subscribed to help us reach that landmark for today. So big up to all of you out there. We know the content doesn't stop just after today. We'll be with you throughout the whole summer and beyond. We never stop. So we'll see you in the Premier League next season. Unfortunately, West Ham, we won't see you there. Enjoy your trips to Lincoln and Millwall and Bolton.
Cardiff
And Swansea.
and Disney FC.
They're going on a European tour.
They're going on a European tour,
not,
mate.
it sounds like West Ham going on a European tour. Not maybe the one they wanted. But big up to all of you out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Ben will be back in the studio where we'll break down everything. And we're going to be doing a stream with Nikki and Wolfie, and going to have one last time this season do a stream about the relegation battle. But we'll see you all very, very soon. We are Premier League. We have stayed up. We have survived. Big up to all of you.
Big up to everyone.
See you tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.